Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Casual Conversations with Father Romans and
Father Federico and
Fenway Romans. Woo, Fenway!
Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome back to our living room. This is our 4th week, I think.
Is it?
Of Casual Conversations. The days just blend together. I'm sure you have a lot of that going on in your homes. We ask each other what day it is all the time.
Yeah, sometimes I wake up and don't know. It's really weird.
Story of my life, I think, too.
So welcome, Janice Vasquez, my aunt, Jim Mitchell, and Marissa Smith. Thank you. Yes, it's a beautiful Saturday. That's why we decided to open the curtains so you can see the sun shining. It's a great, wonderful sign to us of new life. Rebecca Berkowitz, hello. Anne-Marie Wozmak, John Mayano, hello, hello. Victoria would like to know who will get the first question in. You did. Jim Mitchell is next with a question. Can Fenway come over and play with Otis and Josie? He's really not one to have a play date. Yeah, I'm afraid about spreading the virus. No, he's not a cooperative puppy with other dogs. So he has 2 friends that he's had since he was a little puppy, and he's great with them. He doesn't treat them bad or bark at them.
He's an only child.
He is an only child. So thanks for the offer, Jim, but no, the answer is no. Susan Beshman tuning in. Judy Iannone, thank you. Patrick Mitchell, got 2 questions again.
Always deep questions. Let's do it.
Why was Thomas called Didymus?
I do not know.
I do not know either.
Google?
I know why it was called Doubting Thomas.
I know that one too. That's a good question.
Why don't you Google and let us know, Pat?
Isn't it crazy how in the Bible a lot of the characters have nicknames or alternate names?
Judas the Iscariot.
Yeah. Also called Peter. No. Why can't they just keep them?
Sons of Thunder.
Right.
Yeah.
We should have nicknames, Father. We'll work on that.
Padres of Doom? No.
The Padres of Doom from Cheshire.
There we go. And his second question, why were the Jews forbidden from eating animals who chewed the cud or had split hooves? Where are you coming up with these questions?
Someone's studying the Old Testament.
Yeah.
I think you might be referring, Patrick, to Leviticus and the Old Testament prescriptions by Yahweh on what his chosen people could eat. You know that major world religions to this day, including the Jews and Muslims, still have special dietary restrictions. We as Catholics fast from meat on Fridays. So eating is very much a part of religious identity. And I don't know the specific answer about those kinds of animals, but in general, Yahweh did things in the Old Testament to set his chosen people apart from what they wore and how they dressed and how they behaved, and including what they ate. So it's an identifying factor that I belong to Yahweh. And sometimes that, that's true, of course, today.
Excellent answer, Father. Tina Bacaletti, welcome. Karen McCormick Wells in Madison, waving to you. Rachel Kozlowski, beautiful day for a visit in your living room. Yeah, it'd be a beautiful day to have the visit outside. We should have done that, Father. Not sure if the Wi-Fi would have reached.
True.
Carolyn Angelicola from all the way from sunny Florida.
Nice.
Still connecting with her home parish here. Mary Fletcher, it means twin. Didymus.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Good to know.
Appreciate that. So today is a beautiful day, and apart from our regular routine of these Saturdays of quarantine, which is having the church open, today it was only open from 10 to 11. Mm-hmm. And that's because at 11 o'clock I had a wedding. And I give a lot of credit to the faith of this couple. It was just the bride and groom their best man and maid of honor, and me and Julia up in the choir loft. It was really a beautiful ceremony, but then unbeknownst to them, remember the call you got this week, Father? If they remain socially distant, could they throw rose petals? Unbeknownst to them, there were some 30 people out in the parking lot remaining socially distant with masks on, but they were there to greet them as they came out of the church. I opened the doors, and then the couple came out, and they threw rose petals from a distance. They had decorated their truck.
They had the cans trailing.
Yes, they had the cans tied to the back of the truck. It was really
Did it say just married?
It did. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was cool. And one of the readings that they chose today was Song of Songs. And the quote is, "Deep waters cannot quench love, nor floods sweep it away." And in my homily, I said, "And I say to you, the coronavirus cannot quench love, nor a pandemic sweep it away." And that's why we were here, to rejoice in the gift of love that God planted.
Amen. So nice touch, Father.
it was
Your pandemic homily.
pandemic homily for a wedding. I'm ready if anyone else wants to get married.
Yeah, let's do fun. Let's do fun ministry, huh?
Yeah.
Weddings, baptisms.
I'd rather do that than all the anointings for those that are sick and dying, and the burials.
We're happy to do those things as part of the ministry, but it's tough. It adds up when we do a lot of these things that are more on the heavy side.
I did a burial this morning as well, and it was tough to just be there and not be able to comfort the family in the normal way, or even greet them. You can't go up and shake their hands and meet them. You got to stay distant. And thankfully, they understand that, but it makes it harder for you as a priest.
I think so. Father had a burial this week where a cat played an important role and jumped on top of the umbrella. Father did, I think, 2 committals this week in which he got soaked. The schedule worked out so that he was in the rain both times.
Yeah, it was fun. Fun times. Very difficult, though, from a priestly perspective. I mean, it's difficult for the family going through the loss, but it's difficult for us because we want to be a source of comfort, and to have to stay distant and almost, you feel like you're being cold, but not by choice. So,
True.
Joan Rosinski wants to know, who's cooking tonight, or are you doing takeout?
A great question, Joan. We were
Joan,
laughing.
that's always the first topic of conversation every morning. What are we doing for dinner?
Every day we check in. It's like, all right, what do you want to do for dinner tonight? We cooked this week. We busted out the Komodo Joe grill
That's right.
that someone
The
generously
Googly Minos gave to us.
gave to us, a Komodo Joe. It turned out to be great. We made filet mignon on the grill, and it turned out to be pretty good. I made those.
He's saying we, but it was really him. I was inside trying to figure out what I could put together quickly to recover in case he burnt everything.
And with his hand on the fire extinguisher in case he needed to rush out. We had some serious smoke billowing up
It was
from our
bad.
grill this week.
It was bad.
What else did we eat this week? Roast chicken.
Roast chicken. Someone made us a lasagna,
very
which
good.
was nice. Please, no more lasagnas. We've had enough. That's the 3rd lasagna since the pandemic started. So
Thank you.
thank you very, very much. But we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Father is enjoying joining in this cooking atmosphere. So we're putting things to work. We had pork tenderloin. Remember, you don't like pork, but you loved it.
That was excellent. Oh, with your special secret sauce. Sorry.
It's a secret recipe.
Family recipe?
No,
Personal
it's one
recipe?
I created, and Becca Berkowitz and I are the only 2 that know exactly what's in it.
Father Becca might have told me the ingredients.
Becca, that's not allowed. She's
So
watching.
Let's get an auction going. Highest bid will get Father's secret ingredient. No, I'm just kidding.
But Father doesn't like pork, and we made it that night, and he ended up liking it. He had seconds.
Yeah, it was good. What are we doing tonight?
What you said.
I've been in the mood for a calzone like you wouldn't believe. So we are going to support a local establishment tonight, and I'm going to get a sausage calzone. And Father,
And depending on where we go, which establishment, then I'll pick a dinner entree according to my taste.
So we're ordering takeout tonight.
But it will not be a calzone, I'll tell you that. Although I do like cheese and I do like bread, but really can't do all that bread. Thanks, Joan. The Blyers are watching. Hello there. Deb says hi, father and son. There's your mom.
Hi, Mama.
John Mayano, is that the first wedding during the pandemic? It was the first wedding in our parish since the pandemic started, yes. Most of the other ones that were scheduled have postponed to later in the summer or even to next year. And many of them weren't even going to be until May or June, but they're hearing from their venues that they're not going to be able to have their reception, so they've decided to postpone things. So I have quite a few weddings in July, Father, and been doing Zoom meetings with the brides and grooms. This is really, really weird.
How about you've also had some Zoom interviews this week?
Yes, we're still, as you know, in our search for the next principal of St. Bridget School, and we had 3 interviews on Thursday, and to do that by Zoom is just, it's a weird feeling. I don't know how to describe it. Everybody's there. The whole search committee was there, and then the candidate, but you don't feel like you're really meeting the person because it's on a screen. You know what I mean?
Can't replace that in-person feeling.
But the interviews went well, and let's see, if it's God's will that it's one of them, then hopefully we'll have a principal soon.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
That's all we can do.
And let's see here. Phyllis McNeil, Didymus means twin in Greek, and Thomas means twin in Aramaic, so it was thought that Thomas was a twin. Thank you.
We're learning a lot.
Judy wants to know, Judy Iannoni, why were so many of the years that Jesus spent on earth unknown? In one of the readings last week, it stated that there were many more signs, but they are not written here. Why not?
Great question.
I think I would answer that in saying that, first of all, they picked the miracles that Jesus performed that had the greatest impact in the hearts of those around. So, he performed many signs and miracles, but some of them were only known to individuals, and some of them were not in a greater number of people and didn't really spur people onto belief. And I think that's the writers of the Gospels, I think, were seeking to pick out the ones that had the greatest impact to stir our hearts to believe that he is the Messiah, the Son of God.
Yeah, for sure. I would add that if you think about what a human life consists of, and Jesus is a complete human being who's also divine, our human lives are marked by major milestones and celebrations, and in between them are ordinary days, the average, regular, ordinary days. And Jesus had ordinary days. In fact, the vast majority of his life, which you reference, the first 30 years of his life was hidden. Ordinary, quiet days of getting up, going to work, getting a headache, dealing with it, living with his mother and St. Joseph. And those are the hidden years and all of us can relate to this. We've all had hidden years and hidden days in our lives, and our humanity and Jesus's humanity is one and the same. So great question.
Yeah, great question. Rebecca, I always keep the last ingredient a secret.
Smart move.
Johan Yosef. Hello, fathers. I've always wanted to ask. A lot of times we have thoughts or reactions to the gospel or homily, and we'd like to share some feedback or comment. Is there an email address or any other venue where we can send the same? Yes, you can just send it to rectory, RECTORY, at stbridgetcheshire.org. And Madeline manages that email address, and she will deliver your message to whichever person you would like it to be sent to. So,
yeah, and on that note, we do get feedback on every weekend homily that we give. Our very talented sacristan, Mr. Tony Giannetti, times each of our homilies and offers bullet points of feedback and often constructive criticism when it's warranted. And so we get feedback and assessment every time we give a weekend homily.
Right.
In fact, he's been timing our weekend homilies on the Sunday Mass live stream and texting us. It was 8:37:04, guys, and he still continues to track it for us.
Yeah, and a shout out to him because his birthday is Sunday or Monday. I think it's Sunday.
We love you, Tony. We miss you.
We do, indeed. It's not the same without him. Donna Esposito wants to know, how old was Jesus when he died?
We'll check his Facebook page. I'm sure his dates are. Tradition has it that Jesus was 33.
2 threes. Michelle Jeffrey, thanks for watching. I want to know what you responded to your son. Her son and Michelle were out on the deck this morning, and little Devin said to her, "Why did God create the coronavirus?"
Wow.
I want to know what your answer was, Michelle. I'd really be fascinated to hear. Frankie O'Leary, thanks for joining. Christina Federico. I think I know that person.
Love you. Miss you guys.
Sandra Santorino, hello, fathers. Jim Mitchell, Father Federico, aren't you happy that the Red Sox got off basically scot-free from their Major League Baseball investigation?
Do you want to get into this, Father? Because I do have some thoughts on this.
He asked you a question. Go ahead.
Jim, I think it's ridiculous that the Red Sox got away scot-free. If you look at the penalty, so the Red Sox were found to have been cheating in the same way, not as intensely as the Houston Astros were, but the Red Sox, during the year that they won the World Series, were proved to have been cheating in a culture of cheating in which they drew signs from technology and relayed them to the batters. Now, Major League Baseball got away with giving a punishment to a unknown staffer in the Red Sox organization, very, very light punishment. And they also announced that punishment on a Friday afternoon, which is a very convenient way to hide the fact that, to dip it into the news cycle so it doesn't get a lot of attention. I just think that's not right. It wasn't a very harsh punishment at all for a culture of cheating. So yes, Jim, I do have some thoughts on that matter.
Jim, noticed that it went from one incident to a culture of cheating. Just saying, from a Yankee fan. Hi, Jan from Rosalia. Molly Johnson is watching. I'm so grateful, Father, to our school, speaking of Mrs. Jeffrey, to our school families for all that they're doing. Fenway is tearing up a tennis ball over here because he doesn't like the green material on the outside, so he rips it off and spits it up. So if you hear that noise, that's what it is. Molly Johnson's watching too with Tyler and Ryan. Hello there. So as I was saying, I'm very grateful to our school because they put into use the 3D printers.
Yes.
And I don't know if people have seen, we issued a press release and we put it out on our Facebook page that one family from the school has a 3D printer and they're making extenders, which are pieces of plastic that go behind your head that you attach the face mask to, so to save the ears of nurses and doctors. And another is making some kind of mechanism that goes in the front to attach to the mask to make it almost like an N95. So there's a picture in the school section.
Page 10 of this week's bulletin, you can see pictures of the 3D printed items that our school is donating to local hospitals to keep our frontline people as safe as possible. Shout out to our...
And there's other pictures in my article too, Father, of Dr. Louis Pito, one of our parishioners.
Page 1 and 2.
Who works at Bradley Memorial and at Midstate, and he said the nurses were thrilled to get the extended.
There's even a picture.
He has his 2 thumbs up there.
There's a picture of the nurses and doctors who received our St. Bridget's equipment at the bottom of page 2 or 3. So check out our bulletin. It's always available online.
And while you're showing that, maybe you can speak to the other thing that's on that page.
Our new addition to the front lawn.
Yeah.
Well, we as a parish family wanted to participate in the culture of hope and putting signs out and putting signage up to indicate that we're in this fight together. And we've seen beautiful things all around town, the hope signs, the hearts. But we, as the Catholic Church and Catholic community in town, wanted and needed to do something a little different. So you'll see there are 2 signs in front of our St. Bridget campus, which read, St. Bridget of Sweden Parish, where Christ is our light, prays for our first responders and healthcare workers. So not only a way of thanking them publicly on that busy street in front of our church, but our unique contribution as a parish family is we pray for people, and that's what we do. So, well, we as a parish have adopted people on the front lines, and we're continuing to pray for them. So great idea by Father to get those signs out in front of our church.
Yeah, I'm glad they got put up in the rain yesterday.
And our Fenway Friday yesterday, Fenway took a picture with them. So you can check out Facebook and Instagram to see that sign up close, or just drive by.
So Michelle Jeffrey has written back, Father,
Let's
about
check it
her
out.
answer.
a very hard
It's
question.
quite a big question. The answer has been a long conversation, she said. We have things in our world that make us sick, angry, or sad. We can look at it as a way to be angry, or we can learn from this. It's a way that God is telling us, slow down, spend time with each other, and find a way to overcome. Wow, it's a great answer. Yeah.
Just one little word, Devin, that we want to be careful with is, did God cause this pandemic, or does God allow it to happen to draw a greater good from it in the end? So we don't believe that God caused this intentionally, but that he's allowing it to happen for reasons unknown to us, but that we will see when his providence allows. Great question, Devin.
Great job parenting there, Michelle. Lynn Macri Krieg is watching, and Kathy Mahmood, thanks for watching as well. And maybe we could talk about what we're going to be doing this week on Monday.
Yeah, we have our 1 o'clock schedule is up. On Monday, we're going to be debuting a new program at our 1 o'clock hour. It's called Get to Know.
Started last week.
Technically, yes, you're right. It's going to be called
just didn't title it.
Getting to Know Your Heavenly Family. So we are, as a people of faith, we're the relatives, literally, of the angels and saints in heaven. And so last week, Father spoke about Venerable Michael McGivney, and I spoke about St. Joseph. And then we're going to alternate every Monday talking about different saints that are important in our lives and our personal devotions and how they can relate to our lives as a parish family during the pandemic.
Right. And then Tuesday we'll have Mass.
Tuesday, Thursday will always be Mass.
And Wednesday we're going to do a half hour of Eucharistic adoration.
Yes, we've gotten requests for adoration to come back. So that will be
Friday will be the Stations of the Resurrection again this week. And then Saturday we'll be back here to take your questions and to have a casual conversation with you. I'm also excited, little hesitant, but excited about our programs that we're going to be offering beginning this week as well on Tuesday and Thursday.
Hesitant?
Well, to see how it's going to work out
Sure.
on Zoom, with these people, all these people signing in, managing the discussion. So.
And if I bet you Victoria is posting a link right now in the comments.
You think so? Let's see.
So, Father, what are these programs we're debuting on Tuesday and Thursday?
So on Tuesday, we're doing a book club on the book that we gave out at Christmas, Rediscover the Saints. And a lot of you already have it. Those who don't have it, please call us. We have another 50 copies probably here. We'll make arrangements for you to pick it up in the mailbox, socially distant, of course. And we're really looking forward to it. So we're going to do the next 3 Tuesdays. We're going to do one in the morning at 10 and one in the evening at 7.
The same material.
Same material, morning and evening, so you don't sign up for both. And then what we're going to do is on Monday, we will email everyone that signed up with the link to the Zoom meeting. And then on Thursday,
we will have the same format, 10 and 7, 3 Thursdays, a Bible study on the Acts of the Apostles. What did the Catholic Church look like when it was just a few days and weeks old? So we're going to go back in time and check out the history of the early church with the Acts of the Apostles.
And I'm really excited for Tuesday because we have a special guest.
We do.
We do.
Tuesday, special guest.
Someone we haven't seen since the pandemic started, so I'm very excited.
You're going to have to remind me.
She works here. Dun, dun, dun. You'll have to sign in and check it out.
Wow. I'm going to be surprised myself.
And Victoria did put up the link, so thank you, Victoria. Ever
Excellent.
faithful.
Good job, Victoria.
Mark Izzo. Father Romans, has parishioners' use of online donations picked up since the church has been closed for Mass? Are we holding our own? Thanks to you and Father. Enjoy these fireside chats. Thanks, Mark. Always thinking like the trustee that you are. Appreciate that. It's a good opportunity for me to address our people and ask them to continue making those donations. Yes, online giving has maintained almost double what it was before the pandemic. We had a little hike in that for Easter. It was almost 3 times what it normally would be, but now we're back down to about double. So we could use that 3 times amount more to help us to level the curve. But right now we're holding our own thanks to the great generosity of those who are mailing in donations. People are stopping by all day, dropping things off in the front mailbox, their envelopes and such, and often with a little note, which we're really grateful for. But certainly we know that you're praying for us and we're praying for you. So we are doing okay. We would love to see more people remember their parish in this time if they're able, but it is what it is, and we will survive. We'll get through this with your generosity and proper use of tools and resources that we have to limit our costs. So we're really trying to do that. We're also applying, just so everyone knows, we're applying for the payroll protection program of the small business loans or grants that the administration of our government is offering, and our paperwork is in. Now that more money has been released, hopefully we'll be hearing this week that we've been approved for that loan, which will help us, since we're not laying anyone off at this time, it'll help us keep them on the payroll and not have such a heavy burden financially. So say a prayer that that gets approved.
Yeah. Some interesting comments coming up, Father. We have a great comment from Donna Esposito, who writes, I have attended St. Thomas More at Yale for 15 years. Father Bob Boulogne was like no other. Father Ryan Lerner is now doing a phenomenal job. This pandemic has introduced me to some wonderful parishes as I watch online. I'm now following your page. The two of you have taught me so much. Everything you say is so applicable to our lives. A real blessing from this pandemic to watch you on the internet. Thank you, Donna, for tuning in, and always nice to hear a shout out for one of our dear friends and a great brother priest, Father Ryan Lerner.
He's such a good friend, you know his last name.
Who, like Father Romans, is also a former secretary to the Archbishop, so they share that.
That's right.
In common.
Yes, Father Lerner is a good friend. So that's nice. And thank you, Donna, for joining us and following us. Sandra Santorino, did you see that in addition to Zoom, Facebook is rolling out Messenger video for up to 50 people coming soon, and you don't need a Facebook account? I did not see that. Victoria will have to look into that.
Yeah, it seems like a big thing.
Jennifer Mitchell is watching. Donna, my wedding was at St. Thomas More Beautiful Church. Oh, now we got people commenting to each other. That's nice. Hello, my dear Father Anthony. Julie Capone.
Yes, that's my relative, my mom's cousin, watching from Florida. Hi, Julie.
Anthony Federico.
My dad.
Oh, that must be your dad.
The OG.
Hello, fathers. Can you tell us something unique or surprising that might be found in or at St. Bridget of Sweden School, Church, or Rectory other than Father Federico's water bottle?
So this is a question from my dad about something unique in our parish. It's a great question.
Unique or surprising that might be found in the school, church, or rectory. Besides Fenway?
What do we have that's unique?
I can think of one.
Why don't you go first?
We have a first-class relic of Blessed Clelia Merloni, who is the foundress of the Apostles of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, of which Sister Patricia, who's on our staff, is a member. And when I was over in Rome, I met with our good friend, Sister Ann Walsh, whose brother Don is a parishioner, and her other sister is Sister Mary Grace Walsh, who's the provost for education for the Archdiocese. We brought all the pilgrims to their mother house to visit with Blessed Clelia's body, which is in a glass case. And Sister Ann followed up that visit by sending us a first-class relic.
Father, why don't you tell us what a first-class relic is and why it makes it so much more special than a second or third-class relic?
It's generally or usually a part of the person's body or flesh, a bone.
That's a first-class relic, a part of the person's
Yes,
body.
other class relics are something that got touched to their casket or to their clothing.
Or like an object that they handled. Or...
Right. So this is a first class, and we're very honored to have it. And on her anniversary of death, I brought it over to daily mass, and the people were able to show reverence to it. So it was nice. That was before the pandemic.
First-class relic. Pray for us. Yeah.
Amen. You want to think of something, or you don't have something?
Yeah, we have so much here. We are probably the only parish that I know of that has a drone tour available of its parish school. Why don't you go to our school's website and take a tour of the school, especially if you're a prospective student family, and see a drone tour of our school building and all the things that we offer. And Father and I are getting matching drones that we're going to fly around Cheshire to come greet you people virtually since we can't visit in person.
Yes, we're very excited about that virtual tour because this is enrollment time for us. And with the pandemic, the enrollment's a little behind where it normally is. So if you have young children, visit our website, watch that tour, learn everything you can about the school, and then send in your registration. We want to be able to educate your child in the future.
Amen.
Sandy Romans is watching. I think I know somebody by that name. Hi, Mom. Love you. Karen McCormick Wells. Oh, she's mentioning something that is unique.
It's a good one.
We have a beautiful pond
Mm.
outside the back of St. Thomas Becket campus. It is unique and beautiful, and there used to be koi fish, but then the herrings got them. So now there's just goldfish.
Yeah,
but they survived the winter. I went down there the other day, and they're there.
Those koi were there when I was a seminarian at St. Thomas Becket, 6 summers ago.
Yeah.
Those guys lasted a while.
Yeah. They're gone now, though.
Rest in peace.
The little netting that went over it deteriorated slowly, and nobody replaced it. And so next thing you knew, we had no fish. So now there's goldfish.
It's cool, though. There's a little bridge you can walk across and look down into the beautiful pond.
And it costs nothing to keep it up. I'm kidding. Thank you to those who generously donate for that. Let's see, Carolina, sorry. Carolina said, Lynn Macri, my mom was reading the book Sister gifted us in Rome, so beautiful. Oh, Sister Anne had given all the pilgrims a book on the life of Mother Clelia, so that's a connection to that. The virtual tour of the school is amazing. Yes, indeed. So what else you got over there, Father?
Well, we can talk about Mass tomorrow. Our 11 o'clock Mass, we're going to be doing something different. Julia Atwood, our talented director of music, is going to be playing a new song for us at Mass, which is all about the road to Emmaus, which of course is our gospel for tomorrow. So Julia took the time to record herself singing that song so that if you want to listen and practice, you can join in during our live Mass tomorrow. So that song is available on yesterday's Catholic Conversations as a special bonus content at the very end. So if you go to yesterday's Catholic Conversations, you can see Julia at the end playing and singing that song, which we will all sing together tomorrow at Mass.
I always like it when we have new songs. It gets us to learn more repertoire.
I can't read my own writing.
You can't read your own writing? Gosh. We love Julia. Yes, we do, Michelle, Jeffrey. Thank you.
Could we talk about the acts of the Archdiocese that the Archdiocese is doing? This is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I just saw that this morning, actually. So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, the Archdiocese of Hartford is putting out a new initiative, and you can check it out on their Facebook page, in which they're asking for submissions for various acts of kindness and charity being done by our faithful Catholics during these crazy times. And I think they're going to use it as a way to help bring people's spirits up. So you know how when we hear all these news reports and the numbers just keep piling up, it's so refreshing to hear good news and people doing kindness for others. So I can't wait to see what they put together through the Archdiocese of Hartford.
I suggested to Victoria that we should send in a submission for the families that are running the 3D printer.
Absolutely.
And making a difference in that way.
Yeah.
And a great segment. If any of you need extenders or that other mechanism that goes in the front of the mask, if you work in healthcare industry and you need those, please email us, rectory@stbridgetcheshire.org, and we'll put in an order for you. We're only making them when they're requested. So,
right.
But that's just one example of what people in our parish are doing.
Mm-hmm. We could talk about my predecessor, Father Philip O'Neill, who made an appearance this week on our podcast with our youth minister, Regis O'Neill, his cousin. Couple of audio glitches, so if you're watching it on a computer, you should be okay. But Father O'Neill is his guest this week on the podcast, checking in from Nebraska.
That's
and
right.
Wearing his Air Force fatigues. Pretty cool interview because you can see how Father's doing.
Thank you, Victoria. She posted the link to your conversation on Thursday.
She's the best.
And Patricia Borowitz is now watching. It says hello. Maura Atro is watching. Hello there. We want your questions.
Have we had a question in a while?
We haven't had a question in a while. Where are the Monofuscos?
Yeah.
They're always on here, and they always have questions.
I haven't heard from them. Father, have you watched anything good recently during these days?
Besides Blue Buds? No.
We watched a little bit of the NFL draft.
Yeah, that was good.
It was cool. It was cool to have some live sports again. And I watched the first round, but it was kind of boring. There was like 2 trades, I think, and a lot of the picks were kind of known ahead of time, including the number 1 pick. So I miss sports.
Even Coach Belichick picking someone from some unknown university.
Very off the board pick for the Patriots.
It'd be interesting to see how that pans out. Congratulations to Dean Jeffrey and so many other of our parishioners who work at ESPN and were very vital into this virtual draft. He put many hours into that, so God bless him. I know you love mentioning ESPN. Sorry. John Mayano, what's a favorite book you've read? So I said the other day on my Beyond the Bulletin that I had finished this book, Beyond a House Divided, and it's by Carl Anderson. I wouldn't say it's my favorite book, but it was interesting to read. It was a lot of statistics to show that even though the media and our politicians tell us that America feels one way, when you actually survey the people, there's more consensus on the hot topic issues than we're led to believe there is. So on like the sanctity of marriage, the number is unbelievable how many young people recognize the sanctity of marriage and want a faithful marriage and don't believe in divorce. And so even though we're hearing the other side that 50% of marriages end in divorce, there is a greater consensus among young people that they want to do everything they can to have a holy marriage.
Well, that's encouraging.
Yeah, and they want to be married in the church, which is interesting. So it was an interesting read. Now I'm rereading Rediscover the Saints so that I can be ready for our book club, book discussion on Tuesday. But I'm also started reading a novel, 3 Days, The Search for the Child Messiah.
Nice. Oh, when he was lost in the temple?
Yeah.
But a fictional account of that.
Yeah, it
sounds pretty cool.
We'll see how far I get with it. So somebody gifted it to me, so I'll try it. I like more real life stuff, so.
Yeah, certainly not like
it'll be
crazy religious fiction.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I'm starting a book called Gentleman in Moscow. It was recommended by our friends and parishioners, the Burkharts. So I just started it, but the first couple of pages have been really exciting. So that's my new endeavor, Gentleman in Moscow.
All right. Thanks for that question. Patricia Borowitz, how you both doing? Well, we're both here.
Amen, Patty.
So we're good.
Life is good. The Lord is faithful.
Oh, Father, I saw it on Facebook the other day. It said, if you're looking, there's one place that you can still get a haircut and get your nails done. The funeral director. So if you want to get it done, keep out there.
Yeah.
Keep going out or something. Basically, stay home. But everyone's complaining about haircuts.
Because the mortician will have to do your beauty.
Right. But everyone's complaining about haircuts. I'm not complaining about haircuts. I gave myself one this morning. I think it came out pretty good. Do it every Saturday. It takes about half an hour now. I'm down to a half hour. This is good. I didn't cut myself this week.
Good.
Even better.
Nice job.
But poor Father, I think he's going to be looking for more stock in gel. That thing without the gel is about 6 feet high.
We're growing it, baby. We're going for the record. This is quarantine edition. It's all about survival.
It's going to be interesting. It's starting to get really curly.
I know. My mom has pictures of me when I was a kid and I had really curly hair. And now that my hair is getting a lot longer, it's curly again.
It's unbelievable. Father Federico, thoughts on the Giants draft picks? Mark is up.
Yeah, I was happy with it. They took Andrew Thomas, a big, huge offensive lineman. Now, they have much more glaring needs on the defensive side of the ball, but when you have two young franchise players like Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, you need one of these gigantic people movers on the front line to keep them both safe. So everything I've read about the Giants' first-round pick was pretty solid. So here's hoping.
Sandra Thomas, maybe off track, but what's the difference in St. James version of the Bible? Not sure. There's a lot of versions out there. The New American Bible, the New Revised Standard Version. I've never heard of the St. James version.
No, but it's I'm not sure about that either, but we might make a comment on why it's important to read the Catholic edition of the Bible.
Yeah, because we have certain books that are not in the Protestant version, number one. Number two, the New American Bible translation is closest to what you hear in Mass.
Mm-hmm.
So I always recommend that one. But the New Revised Standard Version is also acceptable because it's approved by the church. Do you know what books are not in?
Well, since I read Father Roman's Bulletin article, I do.
You'll have to read it online.
Page 1.
Page 1. Thanks for that question. Sandra Santorino, do you ever get bored? How do you handle it? Yes, I do. I get bored, and then I take Fenway for a walk. Oh, he heard the W word and just looked at me like we're going now. But he knows that I have a certain pair of sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen this happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have to have them on. If I bring them downstairs and I'm going to change my shoes in my office or something, if he sees those sneakers, he's crying and whimpering. He's so excited to go. So that's what we do when we get bored.
Now, Father, I have to tell you, and I have to tell everyone, I got in trouble last week. I went to visit my parents and have a socially distant dinner. And as I was getting in the house, my dear mother said to me a phrase that when she says this, you know you're in trouble. She says, I have a bone to pick with you. And I'm like, all right, I'm dead. What did I do? She said, in one of our previous casual conversations, somebody asked how the parents were doing, and we said they're all doing great. And the way that I phrased it was, my parents are bored and safe. Meaning like, they're observing quarantine, they're not going out, they're doing their best to flatten the curve, and they're kind of trapped in the house. And the way that I phrased that was that they're bored. Now, my mom was watching that, and she did not like that phrase because she wants everyone to know that she is not bored at home. In fact, she is taking on new projects and one of them is leading a Bible study at her very secular employer, which I'm very proud of her for. And she told me that boredom happens when we lose sight of our mission, which I thought was a very interesting way of saying that. Now, everyone's going to have moments of inactivity where we got to sort of find something to do. But overall, when we're bored, we should look at that as an opportunity to seek out the Lord and to find out what his will for us in that moment is, rather than going for the nearest immediate pleasure just to fill that moment. So I thought that was a very interesting way of saying that. So Deb Federico is not bored, everyone.
I guess I didn't get bored either because I went to nature.
Very a healthy kind of outdoors kind of way.
Clear your head.
Yeah. Self-care is very important, people. Tell us.
Fenway was praying the whole walk.
Oh, I'm sure. He said the rosary in dog Latin.
That's right.
Yeah. Tell us, what are you guys doing for self-care these days? We want to hear from you.
Jim Mitchell wants to know if the Giants took a UConn player.
They did. They took an offensive lineman named Matt Pert in the third round. I'd never heard of him, but a little hometown flavor.
Right. Ann Moriarty watches Blue Bloods too because she loves, like we do, how they have dinner together and say grace.
Catholic,
Sunday dinners. Adrian Rose. Favorite movie?
Wow, favorite movie. I got to go Bronx Tale. Have you seen it? It's with Robert De Niro and Chaz Palminteri. It's set in the 50s in the Bronx, and it's about this young boy in an Italian-American family who grows up having a blue-collar father played by Robert De Niro and a mafioso figure that he looks up to, played by Chaz Palminteri. And he grows up getting the lesson of the way of goodness and the way of evil. And as he grows up, he has to decide which path he will take. It's probably my favorite movie ever. A Bronx Tale.
He is a movie connoisseur. I am not. So I don't think I have a favorite movie.
Okay.
Jesus had long hair. Patricia Borowitz, always your
Patty.
fan.
Thanks, Patty.
And hi to Rachel Ashley. Welcome. Lynn Krieg is out walking. I just passed the church, now heading down Cornwall. Keep it going. She's listening to us while she walks.
How cool is that? Thanks, Lynn.
Anthony Federico, stirring the pot.
What do we got, Dad?
Any thoughts on the possibility of a drive-in style mass? No, at this time there is not. We had a Zoom meeting with the Archbishop on, what was that, Tuesday? All these days run together, huh? Tuesday, the priest of our region got to meet with the Archbishop on Zoom and his advisors and his council. And they wanted to see how we were doing. Did we need anything? What we were doing creatively, and just touch base and connect with us and make sure everything's going okay, and all the priests are doing all right, and nobody's getting overly depressed or anything. So it was really a pastoral visit with our Archbishop, which was nice. And the thought came up at that of the possibility of figuring out a way to do some kind of parking lot adoration.
Mm-hmm.
So that we'll be looking at in the coming days, that maybe setting up a stage in back of the church where we can expose the Blessed Sacrament and people could stay in their cars and come on the church property to have an experience of adoration. So we'll be really contemplating that together, I think. I like that idea.
I do. And we may talk about doing a mass on the field when it's appropriate to, as a way of coming back together as a parish family. So lots of things in the works. Thanks, Dad.
Absolutely. These things would see more.
Yeah, it's rough. Who are you looking
Father
at?
Federico, you mentioned that Donna is saying this. You mentioned that God may have brought about this pandemic and that it will be for a greater good. Could you talk more about this? Maybe we need to clarify.
Sure. As I did not say God brought this about, I said God allowed this to happen. So there's a difference between God causing something to happen and God allowing something to happen. And if we look at Scripture, Romans 8:28 says, God, in all things, God works together for good for those who love the Lord. All things work together for good. Not some things, not just good things, not just pleasant things. All things work together for good. So in any situation, no matter how bad it is, like a pandemic, God can use this to bring greater good about it. And God knows how people's hearts are being changed during these times at home, how people's family lives are improving. I cannot wait to hear the stories of miracles and conversions and hunger for the Eucharist. God is definitely working through these crazy times. Can you talk more about this, Father, this spiritual hunger that we want to see awakened in people?
Yeah, I think we are seeing it. And I write about it actually in my bulletin article this weekend, because the story of the road to Emmaus, I'm sure you're going to be preaching. It says we're not our hearts burning within us as he spoke to us, but they didn't recognize him until the breaking of the bread. And they hungered for that moment, that experience, just like people are acknowledging to us that they hunger to receive the Eucharist again. And I think of the people that we've asked, leaders of our parish, who we've asked to come in and be with us for the live streaming to read, and how they say that they're so excited not to do the reading, but to be able to receive the Eucharist. That's
right.
They're willing to.
Yeah,
some of them even are embarrassed to read and wouldn't do it in a normal occasion, but because they want to receive the Eucharist, they're putting that aside so that they can be there.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah. So I think there is a real hunger out there, and it's awakening in all of us a reality check about the Eucharist is so important to our spiritual lives.
And the fact that as priests, you and I get to receive the Eucharist every day in our private masses here in the Rectory Chapel.
Right.
And I think of you guys every time. I'm sure Father has a moment too where it's such a privilege to receive the Eucharist, and that we can't wait for you to join us again at the altar. Soon, people.
Soon and very soon. Eleanor says, thank you both for everything you're doing during this tough time. It's helping so much with all the anxiety. God bless you both and everyone else who is helping to keep us in touch with our faith.
Amen.
Fenway is precious. Amen.
Amen.
Heather LaFrance is watching. Welcome. Gladys Ferraro. You know Gladys. She was the one that came to our Theology on Tap. They were married, 60 years?
60 plus years.
60, yeah. So she says, Father, I was told years ago music for church must be approved. Personal songs for weddings and funerals may not be permitted. Is that still the rule? Indeed it is. There is, an importance to playing sacred music in the liturgical setting. Now, for pastoral need, one could permit a non-church song to take the place of like a eulogy at a funeral. If there's a song that really meant something to that individual or to the family, there's a family song that, as long as it's doesn't say anything contrary to the faith, it could be incorporated in place of a eulogy. So you wouldn't have the opportunity to speak, but you'd be able to play that song.
And the reason why, Gladys, that liturgical music is appropriate at Mass, we all know the rule, but the reason why is so important. So I would love if Victoria could do a little digging and post a link in the comments to the Catholic Conversations that she and Julia did several months ago, probably, in which Julia explains, our music director.
I'm sure she's saying right now, thanks a lot, Father.
You're going to have to go. Victoria's going to find it for us. Julia, during that Catholic Conversations, actually, they filmed it from the choir loft, so it's cool. You can see from that video what Julia and the musicians see at each Mass. Julia, in that conversation, explains why liturgical music is appropriate. And the answer is that it's a preview of heaven. And it's actually training us for the music that we will sing in heaven. So stay tuned for that link. Victoria is diligently going to pull that up. Great question, Gladys.
Now here's something. It's not a question, and I appreciate this, Sandy Thomas. She's posting here that she's buying material, fabric, and elastic on Sunday, or she's getting it on Sunday, but she wants to be connected with someone that's already sewing Mass. So she must want to learn how to do it.
And using us as sort of like a network.
Yes. Yeah. So if anyone is making masks out there, I believe Heather LaFrance is doing that. So Heather, you're watching now. If you're doing that, please message Sandy Thomas. She's looking to make a connection there so that she could probably learn from someone else the easiest way to get these done quickly.
And consider that for the Acts of the Archdiocese, guys.
That's right.
Yeah, very cool thing that you're doing.
That's right. Melanie Kahn, thanks for joining. Barbara Mitchell, thanks for joining. Heather LaFrance just said I can help her. Great. So you should be able to see her comment in the comment field, and you just message her. That'd be awesome.
People helping people. That's what we do. Love it.
Fenway, who are you helping? You help keep our sanity, huh? What else happened this week? I'm trying to think.
Well, we talked to Father John Gankars yesterday.
We did.
You remember now Father John Gankars was assigned here as a seminarian 2 summers ago? Last summer? No, I was here last summer.
2 summers.
2 summers ago. He's my classmate. Father John was studying in Rome and was on one of the last flights back to the United States so that he will finish his studies here, and he's living in Bloomfield now at St. Thomas Seminary, the Archdiocesan Pastoral Center, and he is such a great guy. I'm sure you guys got a chance to know him. So we talked to him for a while yesterday. He's in great spirits. He's eager to start ministering as a priest in a more traditional way, but he understands that we just all got to ride this out together. So we're so happy to have him back.
Yeah, so he'll finish his studies end of June. Right?
Yeah, I think he said his semester ends in June.
So by then, hopefully, everything will be at least somewhat back to some normalcy, and he'll be able to begin his assignment wherever that
might be.
And there's one other being ordained this year.
Yeah, Deacon Jaime Maldonado Aviles, who I studied with in D.C. at Theological College. Actually, I'm wearing the shirt
advertising.
Today. Yeah.
It's convenient.
Yeah, soon to be Father Jaime, God willing. He will be ordained this spring, and we will have a new priest for the Archdiocese.
Yeah. So they're going to do transitional diaconate and priesthood in the same ordination.
Is that official?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh, the Archbishop told us.
we did that. Yeah, we did that one time before when I was secretary. So probably in like 2010, maybe 11, somewhere around there. We ordained 4 men deacons and 3 priests, or vice versa. And it was a very complicated ceremony with that many. I think this year there's 1 and 1 or 1 and 2, so it's a much smaller group, so it'd be more manageable. So very
we'll be
excited.
there.
Hopefully we'll be able to be there.
Hopefully.
We shall see. Is Beethoven's Ode to Joy considered liturgical music?
I know that I've heard the tune on church hymns before.
Right. I think it is approved for use in marriages.
It's beautiful.
And Victoria, you have so much trust in me. Sacred music video is up. The link is there for you to check it out. Thank you so much for that. A shout out to, I want to give a shout out today to our maintenance guys.
Yes.
You know, under the direction of Matt Vitello and Ryan and Dave for all that they do. Considered essential workers, and they are essential. I mean, they're here every day. They're disinfecting after people come in to pray. But they're also getting everything ready so that when we are able to open, it looks good for the
hardworking guys.
So they're getting a lot of little projects done too throughout the buildings, and things that got put on hold for whatever reason. We got busy and we said, oh, we'll get to that one day. We're starting to get 1 project done a week. Like, we're trying to address those kind of things.
You know who else is on the maintenance staff, Father?
Rebecca Berkowitz.
Essential employee.
She came back this week, and not only did that bring great joy to Fenway and put a smile on his face, but it gave us a sense of normalcy too, seeing her around. So very glad about that. Carolina, Gabby, Mrs. Fenway. He's right here. Come here. Come see. Come sit. You want to say hi? St. Bridget of Sweden Parish wants to know, can you talk about scheduling masses for loved ones? Yes. Thank you, Victoria. Victoria is always on the ball. We have masses available to be scheduled for your loved ones. So while you're sitting there at home and trying to figure out what you can do, you could call Madeline and schedule a mass. We have a lot of masses open from August to December. I don't know, something like 50 in that amount of time, weekday and weekend. So get your intentions in. The mass book for 2021 will not open until we are back open. So I don't want to put all those phone calls on poor Madeline, who's also gets a shout out because she is here every day by herself in the office and keeping the books up and keeping up to date on everything. And it's great. She's getting a lot of little projects done too.
She just texted us during this casual conversation, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet. So shout out to Madeline.
Yeah, I think she was responding to Mary Beth, who said that Heinz Hardware had gloves, masks, toilet paper, and paper towels.
Wow, TP.
So that is like a big find.
Huge.
I'm sure by the time people hear it on this, and by the time we got there, that it'd all be gone.
Right.
But, you know, Heinz Hardware, they're always great. It's a local business. We got to support our local businesses, especially in this environment. And apparently they got it all today.
Let's go check it out. Father, I want to do a little something silly from now to the end of the video. I want to get people's guesses on what our middle names are. No family allowed to guess. This is what I want to have you guys guess what our middle names are. This just occurred to me. So.
Can I just finish one thing?
Yes.
Victoria just posted that they can also check on our website which masses are available before you call. So stbridgetcheshire.org is our website /maps.
Wow, I didn't know we had that.
We are very high tech here.
Good job, Victoria.
And to make everyone's life a little easier, next week we hope to be able to take credit cards as payment for a variety of things. So if you want to buy a cemetery plot or you want to pay for a mass intention, all that would be able to be done by credit card too. So.
Very cool.
All right, now you can do it.
All right, in the last 5 minutes or so that we have, I want you guys to guess what our middle names are. So if you're related to us, you're disqualified from guessing, but I can't wait
or
to see.
Or if you've known us for many years.
Right.
Like Becca with me.
Yeah, right.
You know, obviously, she knows the answer.
But I'm kind
of course, who's the first one to post it? Becca.
Becca ruined it for you.
That's cheating.
So father's middle name is Vincent.
Yes.
Father Jeffrey Vincent Romans,
Yes.
KCHS.
I believe the story is that I was actually supposed to be Vincent Jeffrey. Vincent is a family name. My grandfather was Robert Vincent.
Mm.
And when my father went to fill out the birth certificate, he reversed it.
At the last second?
No, he just didn't know which one was supposed to come first. So
Your whole life could have been different.
it could have been.
Shout out to Mr. Romans with the
It could have
name
been.
switch.
Yeah, it was quite a story.
So Becca got the right answer in there.
And Lynn Craig got the right answer.
And there's mine. My middle name is Joseph. Lynn knows us so well. We'll do a fun game like that next week. We'll propose it at the beginning of the hour and solicit fun guesses, and at the end
But we got to pick something that even Lynn and Rebecca wouldn't know.
Right. We'll stump them. We'll work on this next week.
We'll come up with something. So until next week, know that we're praying for you. We miss you. We love you. And we can't wait till we're all together again at the altar. But we'll be here every Saturday to join you for a casual conversation. Please join us during the week, 1 o'clock every day, except tomorrow. Join us at 11 a.m. Facebook, YouTube, and the Parish website.
For Holy Mass.
For the Holy Mass.
Love you guys. Miss you.
God bless you all.
Amen.
Family, say bye-bye.